How are we gonna introduce this actually?
Hey Colin, you remember that song? We didn't start the fire. Just kidding.
That's perfect.
uh, Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. That was a weird intro. So today we're going to be talking about
Gonna do
fire.
the weird intro after the weird intro. You
Yeah,
just gotta let it slide. But
but
anyway,
anyway, we slid into it really awkwardly. Um, so we're
yeah.
going to be talking about a little more serious subject, which is natural disasters. So Colin, have you experienced any natural disasters?
Well, yeah, but hurricanes. In Florida, in Gainesville, you're kind of right dead in the middle of North Florida. So, when the hurricanes would come in and hit, we didn't usually get the worst of it. You know what I mean? We'd get bad storms, you'd get trees falling, you'd have friends who had trees fall through their roofs or whatever, but like I never knew anybody that like died from a disaster or anything like that. Um, it was always just like we'd have the power outages for a while. It's a little, I mean, scary maybe when you're little, but when you're older, it's chill. But yeah, it's just been like hurricanes for myself. How about you?
Personally, I've done the hurricane thing. Orlando's a little
You've done the
closer.
hurricane thing.
Yeah, I've experienced that whole thing. I've also gone through hail in Africa.
Is hail
Um,
count as a disaster? Was it like disastrously large
it like
hail?
breaks windows. Um,
Hmm.
but like you wouldn't want to go outside essentially.
Right, right. Sure.
Like you'd get
But
hurt.
your home's not gonna get torn down from it though, right?
No, no, just like
Some roof
maybe your
damage or
window.
something or some
Yeah,
dented cars, right?
roofs can definitely take it. Cars relatively take it. Um, and it's not like sometimes it's terrible, but most of the time it's not. And then recently, so I moved to California, and there's these wildfires going on.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I'm not affected, but at my work, plenty of people and their parents had to like leave their like homes,
Is there a
and
noticeable difference in the air quality? Like, is
very
it
much
pretty
so.
bad? Yeah.
Like that morning, I remember opening my window because I normally like open my windows in the morning. So the weather's really nice and like kind of breezy. So I opened the windows and I got this overwhelming like burnt smell.
Mm.
Um, I don't want to say like it's burnt popcorn smell, but like it smells a lot like burnt popcorn and
Mm.
just comes wafting in, and you're like, whoa.
I'm
So
sorry,
like shut
wafting?
yeah, it just came wafting in. I was like,
Wafting.
whoa, man. Wafting, I don't know.
South African mother. Yeah.
But anyway, it
So it
just
was
comes in. I
wafting
was like,
in.
oh, yeah, yeah. And I shut the window. I was like, ah, no, that smells like that's disgusting. And then like just walking anywhere, you couldn't walk outside just because that smell was so bad. And then the closer you go, or obviously towards the site and everything, you see this giant like plume of smoke essentially coming out from it. At night, um, if you looked from where I'm staying, which is like inside like the valley portion of LA, um, well, Culver City area. You can kind of see behind the mountains. There's like an orange glow.
Oh,
Um,
sketchy.
so it's like an ominous like shit's happening that direction.
Yeah, like
Um,
it's there. You know the danger
yeah,
is out there.
and it's incredible. Like you're so far away. Like that's like a solid 40 minute drive, I would say, to get there. Um, but you can still see the disaster happening. Um, so I would say that's a bit intimidating. And then hearing people's stories. So I took a lift one time recently, and the guy was a retired pilot, and he was telling me, yeah, my house burned down.
Right.
So I'm just driving Lyft and staying with my son like until I can
Jeez.
rebuild or whatever. And I was like, yikes, this is rough for you, man.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Fires don't discriminate. I guess super rich people. I heard like, for example, Kanye West paid for like private firefighters for his whole neighborhood or something
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
like that.
A
But
lot of people are complaining about that here, actually.
really,
Um,
so
yeah,
what is the
because
consensus?
what they're saying is just because you're rich, right, doesn't mean um, you can, get private firefighters and everything like that. Shouldn't those people be
Seems like
also
it
saved?
does.
Um, it it seems that way, and it is that way, I think. It just feels a lot of people are saying it feels wrong, right? Because one of those firefighters used to protect the other people. You know what I
Well,
mean?
are they, they're not like a part of any, isn't it like private contractors, like a mercenary fireman, basically? Like
Essentially,
they're not like your regular firemen
they're
that are
not.
being now pulled from the public. It's like a whole, it's entirely a private ordeal.
Yeah, it is, and I'm all for like capitalism and stuff like that, but I feel like something like private firefighting, it's kind of like also in the same vein as like private security and stuff like that. I mean, I
Well,
guess it's okay,
yeah, it is. I can see why
but
people would be upset because it's only something of ultra privilege, right? Only something that
yeah,
somebody has a certain amount of wealth who could also, in a sense, afford to take the hit and still be better off than 99% of the world, right? If their house
yeah,
burned down. But at the same time, you're dealing with like $60 million homes, like
yeah,
huge, huge assets. And if you were in that position, right, and you had the money to do that, what would you do? You know?
yes. Um, I see that point as well. It's just
It's hard to fathom being in
like,
that
yeah,
position,
yeah.
even. I mean,
Um, it just feels a bit unfair to the people who lose everything. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like, why should I lose everything while the rich just keep everything just
Right.
because they're rich. They already have enough, and then the people who don't have enough lose everything.
Right. They don't have a
Um,
choice. They have to hope that there's, people that are out
gonna
there,
help them. Yeah,
trying
and
to stop it just in general are gonna, you know, do good enough just in time to save their properties, or maybe just by luck wherever whichever way the wind blows. That's
yeah,
Man, that's why fires to me are a lot scarier. Like in Colorado, there are fires as well. Um,
mhm,
and I haven't we there were supposedly, I think, some small fires that went on over the summer while I was kind of out traveling, but I'm a lot more afraid of fires than hurricanes and stuff. Maybe because of being from Florida, but how many
yeah.
people, aren't there like 1,000 people or something that are like unaccounted for?
I don't think it's
And
that many.
it's
Um,
at least several hundred, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a huge number. That are unaccounted for or like missing or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, but
And you
yeah, no,
can swim
I
in
agree.
water, dude. You can't swim in fire.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
no like there. It's like if you get like like those videos. You've seen those videos of people driving through these like hellscapes, and they're just
Yeah,
praying. They're literally like shaking and praying through the whole thing. And there's one I saw recently where this lady, is coming through the fire, goes into this tunnel, and then you just see as she's getting approaching the exit of the tunnel, there's just this ominous like glow, like you're staring into a furnace, and she's asked to drive into it because I guess, you stay, you die, and you hope nothing blocks your path and your car works, I guess, and that you can get out. But holy
yeah,
shit, man, that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare.
yeah. And like a hurricane, like if you're under shelter, you can survive, I think. Um, but for the most, like, I mean, flooding is bad you can go on the roof or something like that. Wildfire is just like burn, done. Like it's done. Once your house catches fire, like the whole thing just burns down.
Yeah, you ain't
Um,
picking up people off of roofs on a fire.
yeah,
You're out of there,
it's
or you're dead. Like there's not, unless maybe some people have these like zombie apocalypse bunkers and they're chilling. But
yeah, it's
Jesus.
rough. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's just like a really sad situation. And the so like I know most deaths and like stuff like that happen on hurricanes in the aftermath. Like look at Puerto Rico. Um, I know there's a recent thing with our president disagreeing about the statistics of that situation.
Mm,
Um, but I think even in areas like that, like where getting help and everything is a lot harder, uh, I'm kind of grateful that, living in Florida, we get the help that we need because we're on the
sure.
mainland.
Right.
Yeah. Um, like we lost power the last hurricane that came through, but it was restored in like a day.
Right.
Um, and like just imagining Puerto Rico and stuff, like that's pretty rough as well. And yeah, just relating it back to like sustainability and everything. I don't remember the world being this prone to natural disasters.
Yeah.
Like in my childhood, at least.
Yeah. I mean, uh, I feel like, and I don't have data that I'm looking at right now or anything, but
Hmm.
if the ocean, is getting warmer, theoretically, that would fuel the intensity of hurricanes, right? And
Yeah,
if climate change is fueling the drought in California, extending the summers, right? Extending the
hmm,
dry season. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure there's this beetle, at least this is what I've heard in Colorado, there's like a pine beetle that's now alive for a longer period because of how the seasons are kind of shifting. And that's leading to way more dead trees, which is leading to basically way more kindling for this fire to be, even more
out of
devastating.
control.
So from what I understand, there's like a combination of factors, of course, that have led to, I think, the fires being probably more devastating than in the past. One,
Yeah,
um, you have kind of these, I guess, climate change factors, right, that have likely made for prime conditions for these fires to kind of go off in. And then two, you have, or at least I've heard, there's been the forest management issues in California or a lack of controlled burns or something. I don't know the
yeah,
details on that, but whatever the case, obviously the not only the economic impact from a purely numbers standpoint, but the like emotional wear it has on everybody that affects, and
yeah,
the environment, obviously, like, you might say if people are stopping controlled burns because they're concerned about, wildlife in that area or something. I don't know what the reasoning might be. And then you have an explosive fire like this that just rips through everything. Well, that doesn't help any wildlife. That doesn't,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a complicated issue, but what's annoying is it seems like yet again these kind of complicated issues are just getting made political. It
yeah,
somehow turns into like a right think it's this and the left thinks it's this and yada yada yada. But
yeah.
ultimately, there's a lot of people right now that need help.
Yeah, and I think this like over politicization of it, um, I don't want to blame the current administration, but current administration I think is uh, denying like numbers and facts that are like objectively there. Like look at even like the Puerto Rico numbers or just like a lot of things they just kind of just dismiss or produce their own bullshit facts for. Um, and I feel like doing that it is just like helping nobody. Because now instead of fighting or fixing things, we're fighting each other. Um, and if we keep fighting each other, no one's gonna,
There's no solutions. Yeah.
yeah, no one's gonna solve anything.
On
Like
top of
this
that,
is
and
just
I
a
mean,
friggin' shit show.
yeah, and it's just another thing to consider. It's not the people who live there's fault, but I think like fires in California were probably a thing before humans were there too. Or like
Yeah,
fires are still a natural occurrence, right? So,
yeah,
and we're living, we live in a world that's not entirely under our control.
mhm.
And as some of these things get worse or seemingly more frequent or more severe, it's like hopefully we can be proactive in taking measures to either help with the severity of it or help protect and limit the damages to human civilization, I guess, that we've built up. Like, how do you
Yeah,
feel about that? Like, what should the approach be to kind of guarding ourselves against these natural disasters that we know are going to happen? You know, they can't
yeah.
really be stopped, but they hopefully can be limited, right? In a way,
You can. Um,
or the impacts at least be limited.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. I honestly think uh we're the culprits of this, and I don't say we deserve it. Um, but you reap what you sow. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
we,
I think the population density in a place that didn't really have the water resources, I guess, to support that is
yeah,
pretty suspect. It's like bad planning, but hey, it's there. Like, what can you do now? That's just it's done, and
yes,
now people live there, and now like LA or whatever or Vegas or things like that, they aren't going to become a ghost town anytime soon, unless it gets so bad that there's no choice. But
yeah. Um, I'm not sure what to do. Like, put you don't want to say like put caps on cities, but like just there there has to be a way to limit resource use in one concentrated area. You know what I mean? I think that's also a huge issue.
yeah,
Um, and it's, I don't know, it's sad, I think, that
right,
we're at this stage. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like, like bad in any way by saying, people deserve the natural disasters, but if we don't fix anything and keep fighting each other, then if these natural disasters, get out of control, then that we did it to ourselves. You know what I mean?
right, right. It's not like the problem is it's not like on an individual level. You're not saying any individual deserves to have that
Yeah,
happen to them. It's not that. It's just the like
the
humanity standpoint.
collective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the collective. You have,
we fucked ourselves.
yeah, it's it's weird.
Depressing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but
I
there's
mean,
hope. I
there is
think
hope.
so.
Like I'm a person that I stay pretty well insulated from the news intentionally.
Hmm.
I don't buy into the commentary based media that's your usual news shows and stuff on TV and whatnot, and I don't have the time or desire to sift through Facebook articles and to fact check things like that. So I focus on what we're doing here and trying to make a change through my work. But when things like these natural disasters come up, it's impossible to ignore because of those like nightmarish videos. Like if you
Yeah,
have any empathy and can put yourself in those shoes, like imagine being in your car driving through this like death all around you basically. You step out of the car left or right, 10 feet, you're dead. That's hard to ignore. That's
yeah, it's
so
rough.
frightening to me, man. That is so
Yeah.
scary. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because these land management issues and stuff kind of tie into our Time to bust
One
out the
second.
shades. Our douche of the day. The
Okay,
douche.
Colin, who's our douche of the day?
So,
Who's this shitbird?
today we are calling out the Bureau of Land Management. So, we talked about with our very first, our inaugural, no, is that the right term? Our original
Premiere?
douche
I
of the
have no
day,
idea, honestly.
which was in charge basically of the Bureau of Land Management. He's the head of the whole gig. So now this is some shady stuff that the Bureau of Land Management's been involved with. So to give you the short summary here, they wanted to run a population control experiment with wild horses to manage a herd that's in Oregon, and the idea was basically to cut out their ovaries of 100 horses and then leave 100 as the control. And Colorado State University was initially on board with it, and then they backed out, and they didn't decide to stop the study when CSU backed out. They said, you know what, we're going to do this anyway, and we're going to try to kind of keep things hush hush because they knew, it's not a good look. Like they knew the issues with it when they were doing it. So,
Yeah,
um, luckily it got blocked, so it's not gonna happen.
good.
Um, but man, that's a shady move. It's a pretty inhumane way to go about this because there are alternative ways of sterilizing um, horses basically, and
Yeah,
the operation, I guess, to remove their ovaries is very invasive, and they wouldn't receive any follow-up, checkups and treatments or anything like that. So it's like, well, we're gonna do surgery on you, and now you're back out to the wild. Let's see what happens. Like,
yeah,
what? That's so savage. Like, savage in the worst kind of way. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
we should be a little more empathetic to other creatures than that.
Hella douchey.
Mm,
Douchey AF.
mm.
Yeah. And I mean like they actually tried pushing it even after the university backed out. Like that's shady ass shit.
Yeah, I mean, I have a quote here. Basically, this is the reasoning for the plan is the wild horse populations on public lands dramatically increased, exceeding what's healthy. So the problem is there, and the activists that found out about this and basically helped get it blocked don't disagree with the idea of taking action to manage the populations, right? It's not the point. It's how they were doing it was just brutal. So um, it was exceeding what was healthy for the land and animals, and they wanted to do an experiment seeking to evaluate the safety, complication rate, and feasibility of using this sterilization surgery, which is an ovariectomy, which is removal of the ovaries of the horses. Um, and
It's a weird
again,
name.
being done with CSU. So again, just like whose idea is this? Like I don't understand. I feel like we should have better
Doctor
professionals.
Evil.
Yeah, it's they tried to play it off, I guess, like that's a common practice or something, but that was also said to be false, just objectively
Yeah.
false. They're playing a false narrative because my guess is they saw it as I don't know. My guess is maybe it'd be the cheapest solution to go about managing these animals, but it's clearly not the most. It's
Ethical.
not in the best interest of the animal. They're trying to justify doing wrong by the animal and something that could lead to a more tragic death than if you were to just shoot it and make it a painless death to reduce numbers like they do hunting, right, with deer and so forth that spread a lot faster. which
Yeah.
I'm totally understanding of, but to do this uh a
Yeah.
surgery where you're gonna rile up 100 horses, take their ovaries out, and just see what happens. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Douchey,
I
yeah.
guess I guess shout out though to CSU for backing out. Maybe there's like
Yeah.
I can't tell if they backed out because it started to get bad publicity and then they were like, well, maybe we shouldn't. I'm not sure what order things came in.
Are
So
they private or are they public?
CSU, I believe, is a public university, Colorado State.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I believe they're public. So
Oh. Hmm.
yeah,
Maybe they were pressured into it.
I don't know. I
No
don't know.
idea.
Maybe they.
But it
Whoa,
always takes like one
got a
or
lot
two
of
like high
forehead
up
wrinkles.
officials who, have a compromise in their judgment or whatever, and they sell out. And that sucks.
I guess.
Um,
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Absolute
It's just like whose
shitloads.
whose idea was this?
Yeah.
It's like such a barbaric. Like,
I
just cut their ovaries out. That's fine.
Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, they really shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, I think that wraps up douche of the day.
Just gonna let you hang in the silence.
Oh, that's awkward. Damn.
Yeah.
It's a little mean. Found our next week's douche of the day.
I'm every week's douche of the day. Um, no, but yeah, so these
Thanks
natural
for
disasters
listening.
are gonna
Oh,
happen. I mean, I was just gonna wrap it up by just saying like if you're evacuated from a place, like actually take it seriously. Don't be the person scrambling last minute that's caught in traffic, especially with fires. It seems like they can move a lot faster and are a lot more unpredictable.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but dude, yeah, learn from these, unfortunate souls' mistakes that have had to drive through. If you haven't watched those videos, man, it'll blow your mind. Go on YouTube and search some of the videos from survivors that got out of these California fires driving through this like you know hellscape. I guess I don't know what a better word is, but go
Yeah.
look that up, and then you're not gonna dick around next time.
Yep.
That if you got something coming in your area.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, Thanks for listening. Sorry for like depressing news and subjects.
it's okay to
But
be
we'll,
sad.
sometimes. I
Yeah.
feel like this episode was really sad. But anyway, hope you have a good week, and we'll catch you next week. And am I forgetting one more thing?
Like, follow, subscribe, review, and protect your wild.
There we go.